G'day, it's me, New Zealander and also comedian Steve Wrigley, and welcome to 5 Minutes Tonight, the show that takes pretty much anything and talks about it for pretty much 5 minutes. This time on 5MT, we're taking a look once again at the American news media's terrifying coverage of the 2016 presidential race.
Concerns are growing this morning over the possibility of a hacked presidential election.
Someone's going to hack the American election? Who would do such a thing?
A cyber attack by foreign actors.
So the American election's going to be hacked by Benedict Cumberbatch? Actually, that movie would be pretty sweet. It's nothing as exciting as that, though. It's just hackers, just your bog standard hackers.
Hackers tell me the problems with these machines have been around for years. The system and the computer are both old and antiquated.
First of all, old and antiquated? That's pretty much the same thing. Do these hackers even know what they're talking about? Please, CBS, tell me that this entire news story about the American election being hacked is based on the word of someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
Security experts are now raising some red flags.
And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged, I have to be honest.
If he's your security expert, you're in a lot of trouble. Almost as much trouble as you would be if he was the president of your entire freaking country. I mean, come on. It's not like I can just go out and hack the American election with some easily affordable device I can find online.
Election day results could be manipulated by an affordable device you can find online.
But come on, how affordable is this thing really?
And how much does that cost?
$15.
So for $15, I could hack the vote.
For $15 and in-depth knowledge of the card, you could hack the vote.
Just $15 and an understanding of how this card works and maybe 10 minutes alone with the machine and a huge background in computer science. And hey, anyone could hack the American election, right? And it's pretty obvious to anyone who drinks enough to take the edge off of their life that what's really going on here is an American journalist taking their story and trying to make it sound a little bit scarier than it actually is.
How big of a hacking potential problem is this?
How big of a potential problem is this going to be? I mean, I realize, Kevin Healy, that you work for a security firm and you make all of your money when people are afraid and think they need security, and I work for the American news media and we make most of our money when people think they're afraid and have to constantly watch the news. But could you just tell me, is this possibly going to be a really big problem that maybe people should potentially possibly be really worried about and scared of? Could you tell me possibly, please, probably?
Well, there's a huge potential. There are so many.
Speaking of eggs, Denise Murale is the Secretary of State for Connecticut. She's legit government, y'all. So when I see her coming on this news report, I figure, right, this government lady, she's going to lay the smack down and tell everyone there's nothing to worry about. The American election is totally safe.
By and large, I would say the American election system works very well.
By and large works very well. Something by and large working very well is like a 3 out of 5 star rating. That's pretty good if you're a restaurant on Yelp, but terrible if you're the entire American electoral system, which, according to Kevin Healy, sounds like a nightmare.
The results go from that machine into a piece of electronics that takes it to the central counting place.
In New Zealand, everything's on paper. The paper goes in the box goes in the van goes to the building does the counting, and suddenly National wins by a landslide, and we're all maybe but not actually changing the way our flag looks. Let's not forget which security experts, quote, actually sent the media off and running with the story to begin with.
And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged, I have to be honest.
Trumpleton Sir Donald, old Trumpelstiltskin, the same man who suggested that if Americans didn't like Hillary Clinton taking their guns away, maybe they could take matters into their own hands.
If she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know.
Americans are already fired up and armed to the teeth. And every time Los Diablos Trumpos opens his mouth and says something stupid, the American media have to get in there and poke and prod and fire up the public even more. Instead of listening to foreign actors like Benedict Cumberbatch, these are people who listen to their own local American actors. And we all know how reasonable and level-headed they are when it comes to the government potentially controlling what they do.
From my cold, dead hands.
Listen to Wiggles. If your country's already spilling blood in its streets, maybe responsible, truthful, informative journalism is what we need here. Save the clickbait for BuzzFeed, and maybe save a few lives in the process. For 5 Minutes Tonight, I'm New Zealander and also comedian Steve Wrigley. And please remember to slip us a like, slop us with a comment, and slap us with a share. Catch you next time.